Hello, Boris Pravisham here. Now, firstly, I apologize if this video is a little bit choppy or anything like that. I have to upload and do some other things on the computer at the same time. But this video is important, so it's more about what I'm saying. There's been a few problems with this server, and I want to step in and just reassure some people and to let people know what's going on and what's happening. Because the problems are mostly to do with communication more than anything else. That's an upside down chicken, so that's brilliant. Right, so the problem has been the way it's been adminned and the use of a new plugin, which is to do with the security. At the moment there is I forget the name of the plugin that's being used, but it's most often used on plot servers, and there's a couple of other types of servers that use it. Basically, you have to claim land. That land, the amount of land is based off how long you play, and that stops other people, apart from the ones that you specifically choose, from using or destroying or opening doors, anything like that, from these videos. Sorry, Panda distracted me. Hi, Panda. No, Mia told me I had to keep this short. So it's a security thing that makes a plot that no one else can touch. The reason that was brought in was because there was some griefing and stealing going on. We don't know who it was, and there also was maybe an issue with a hacked client or something like that was finding things that they shouldn't have been. And so the security plugin was rather hastily added. Me personally, I'm not a fan of it, and I don't want it to stay. So, and both Mia and Anubis agree with this. We just talked for a couple of hours about this, and the server in general. We don't want the security plugin to stay. In the perfect world, it would be gone, and it would be completely open like it was before. However, Mia has had trouble trying to please everyone, and that's Anubis and we're going to help out a little bit more. We're going to handle, I guess you could say, the more communication side, making sure that that sort of thing is handled, which is exactly what I'm doing now. And we don't want the security plugin. In fact, we're going to remove it. Around about the time this video goes out. So it's temporary. It was a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction to a problem that was happening, and Mia got stuck in the situation where a lot of people complained if it wasn't on, and a lot of people complained once it was on, and just generally he tried to please everyone and it didn't work. So if we take it off, we need the community to play along. We need everyone on here to be a good sport, and to make sure that if there are bad apples among us that steal from chests and that kind of thing, that they're found out, or that they don't pop up in the first place. And I'm going to talk about that shortly. But it's difficult to talk about it. How do I word this? So we want there to be a bit more self-regulation. Mia is going to step back. He's not going to be interfering as much as he was. He was perhaps interfering a little bit too much. He was giving things to some people, using the creative tools a little bit too much. So he's going to step back from that a little bit. He's not going to interfere in day-to-day life. However, he will be there to do general admin stuff, as well as to run, I guess you could call them, events on this server. And I'll get to that in a second. So Mia has been rather overwhelmed with you know, like he does one thing for one person, then all of a sudden there's a precedent, and another person asks for the same thing. And basically what I'm trying to say is, don't ask Mir for stuff. He's not going to give it to you now. This tunnel is an example. I like the way that he went about doing this tunnel. So if you don't know how it was done, he hired a group of people in survival to build it all. However, all of the materials were given to them. So it was sort of subcontracted. It was done because this sort of needed to be finished quickly to do what he wanted to do. That's not going to happen as much now. However, at least in my opinion, I think often things like stealing and griefing and things like that come about when people don't have something to do and they don't feel like they're part of the group, they're part of the community. So we want to have things for people to do. Now, the point of this server is basically that there is no point. Mir described it as sort of roleplay light. So you can build your stuff however you want, and sort of join in with the group and just have some fun. Do a little bit of role playing. You don't, need to have a character or anything like that, but just to be yourself and do some silly things basically. And we were going to see where it went from there. We might have left it a little bit too open, and it's been abused. And we've also not been very good at communicating and getting our point across when we did things, and the security plugin is a prime example of that. It was implemented without anybody knowing how to use it. In fact, when I logged on, I was stuck in a hole that I couldn't get out of. And if I wasn't able to log on to the remote server itself and op myself and get out of that hole, I would have died there. And of course, I'm sure someone else has had the same problem, and it could have been alleviated if we, gave it a few days. We asked people whether they wanted it or not, and of course you're free to leave your comments on this video, and we'll see, what your thoughts are if you want to have that sort of plugin. But yeah, if there's an overwhelming want to have a plot-based plugin, then I guess I shouldn't be looking at that, the glitching through the world. Yeah, if you want to have a plot-based plugin, then yeah, we'll definitely consider it then. Over here is an example of something that went a little bit wrong. Well, where is it? I believe, was it this hill that was cut in half? There was a hill that was cut in half. So it was roleplay that kind of got a bit out of hand and threatened, to destroy the work that someone had done. So this goes back to making sure that you should, and this is just a general rule for roleplay in general, like if you've not done it very often or before on another server, the rule with roleplay, I mean, is that you should never roleplay with someone who does not also want to roleplay. So an example here was that there was a group that, and I think this is absolutely brilliant that this happened, by the way, they formed an army to defend this mountain, which they saw as holy. It became a religious icon, a religious place, I mean. And they wanted to defend it, and they didn't think, I think it was this building, I haven't been on enough, I think it was this one, and they didn't think this building should have been built on it. And I think that's a brilliant roleplay thing to have done. What wasn't brilliant is then threatening to tear it down and trying to do so, and that's when Mir had to intervene and cut the mountain in half and say, no, I don't actually think this might have been the place, but you get the point. So if you do want to roleplay with someone, this is just a general rule for the internet and gaming, they need to be in on the joke. You need to ask them permission. Of course, if, like, for example, if it was Killer Apple and I, then we sort of know already what we're doing. I wouldn't ask him permission because, you know, I know the boundaries, I know him, you know, he's a friend and I understand how that would work, and I wouldn't take it too far, and neither would he. But when it's, you know, strangers, that's not necessarily the case. So we don't want to, say, outlaw wars. If you want to have a war, that's fine. You'll just have to organize it, basically. Anubis gave the example of, you know, old-timey wars where, you know, two kings would say, well, we'll meet you at this place at this time and we'll have a battle. If you want to have a battle in the town, and I'm sure we'll probably organize things like that. We'll probably in future organize some sort of like a mini game or something like that, probably through this town. This town is looking really nice, and it would be the perfect place for, say, like a Hunger Games style event. But we would have the specific rule that you weren't allowed to touch anything, you weren't allowed to destroy stuff, you weren't allowed to take things out of chests that were other people's stuff. And that all comes under role-playing and making sure that you follow the unspoken rules, and of course the spoken and written ones, that go with that. So you have to make sure that you go along with that. And I want to sort of apologize here as well, because when I've kind of logged on and just done silly things. An example is over here with the toll bridge that I built. I wanted to open a competitor to the transatlantic railway that was running over there, so I built this bridge, the greatest artistry that I have ever made. It's a toll bridge, so you have to pay to get across. Yeah, and you can see here, I may have gone a little bit too far, and I don't want people to be copying. Like when I've been doing silly things like that, I have not been meaning them in a serious way. And I don't want to have been setting, like, I don't want to have been a bad role model. I don't want people to do that same sort of, I mean, that I find that funny, but the fact that I was about to, if I didn't die, I was about to mine my way through here in a straight line, and I was going to cut straight through this house. That's an example where I would have gone too far, and I'm going to stop that. I'm sorry if I confuse people, but that's not what we're doing. If you want to if you want a joke, like make a joke, then you have to make sure that everyone else is in on it. I think I've laboured that point a little bit too much, but hopefully you understand that. We're also going to try and enlist the help of a couple of people, and try and create some sort of a community spirit. I know that Anubis wants to, and we were talking about this, Anubis is probably going to start an army of his own, because I know Killer Apple has started an army for his little village that's here, and Anubis is going to start his own, well, this is like the Killer Kingdom. He's going to start his own kingdom, and he's going to have his own army. So if you want to apply for that, then it's a good place to go. And if we have these groups, then hopefully the sort of person who logs on finds that they have no stuff and they don't want to spend ages, you know, getting all their stuff. If they join a group and the group has stuff to give them and they have a job to do, then hopefully they will be more interested playing the actual game than griefing or stealing or, you know, doing something silly. So we want to try and self-regulate this a little bit more. We want you to try and make sure it's a nice place to be. Remember that if someone posts something in the chat, that it could very well have been meant sarcastically. I use sarcasm a lot. Don't take everything that I say completely literally. Yeah, and I don't know, just try and be nicer. We're going to try and admin this a little bit better. Admins will only intervene when there is something like an event. For example, if we want to go and hunt down the dragon once someone finds the... if they haven't already, I'm assuming someone probably has found the dungeon, and someone's probably found out a way to get the seed and use a map viewer or something like that. But yeah, so we would have like a Kill the Dragon event, we would have a Hunger Games event, we would have an event where, you know, the two armies would meet and kill one another. That kind of thing would be organized not well in advance, it would be quite spontaneous, but, you know, so hopefully if you log on at any time there will be something going on, there will be something to do. We will try and open up, like for example, I really want to open up a theme park. I know Mia has had plans for something, so I'm going to have to check with him first, so don't take this as, you know, as if it's going to exactly happen. But just as an example, I kind of wanted to open a theme park and allow people to, in survival, build mini games that would work on this server. Tristan gave me the idea of using, it was Anubis as well, having a spleef arena that could be managed and restocked by someone. That would be their kind of business, I guess. And they would build that in the theme park district where only mini games were allowed. And yeah, we're trying to give you more things to do, trying to give you more of a sense of community, I guess. And admins are going to step out, not going to do the same things. I think I've covered everything at least twice. So I'm going to end here. There's probably something that I've missed out. Feel free to add your comments on this. Basically, we're sorry for the things that we mucked up, and we hope that people... I probably should get out of this snow and rain, because that makes for a horrible video, because they go all choppy and doesn't compress properly. Why did I think going out of the snow would be good? Now I'm in rain. Anyway, this is exactly why my videos are too long. Yes, so just be nice. Be nice to new people. Try to get them involved in the way that we kind of run things. Remember the stuff about roleplay. I will try not to be as patronizing in future and, you know, tell you what to do and how to play. I want to leave that up to you, but if it goes wrong, then you know, it's basically going to have to be a threat. If this goes wrong again, then this plot stuff will have to stay, and we're going to have to be a lot more authoritarian about how we run the server. And I know some people have left about this, and that's exactly why we don't want to do that. We want this to work out, and we want it to be a fun place to play where, you know, silly role play things can happen, where we can joke about and do things. Yeah, I've said the same thing lots of times. I'm going to end here. Thank you for listening. If you have any problems, just say. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank Mia for doing this. He's been getting quite a lot of flack recently. You know, he's made a few decisions that probably weren't the best, but you know, that's what happens when you have, you know, a couple dozen people all shouting at you, telling you different things. You just go a little bit easier on him, and yeah, try and make this a nicer place to play than it has been for the past couple of days. So yes, thank you for watching. Goodbye.